Hi guys, I'm Cody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So a few days ago I had the idea that maybe instead of focusing all the time on larger, more known brands, that I would do an entire series dedicated to smaller or indie makeup brands. So in today's video I'm going to be reviewing some products from the new SoloGiovane collection. They have a new nostalgia eyeshadow palette, foundation, setting powder, and a highlighter. So if that's something that you would like to see, keep on watching. Okay, so before I start reviewing some of these products, I have a very exciting announcement. So one of my biggest dreams is to have my own clothing line or merchandise line, and I kind of technically have it. So I'm really excited to announce the new Cody J apparel line. It is in collaboration with Teespring, so you can go on to teespring.com/stores/CodyJapparel to buy as much merchandise as you would like. So I do have plans on creating a Twitter and an Instagram page for my apparel line, so it'll mainly focus on my product photos, of course, but as long as you guys tag me in photos of you wearing or showing off my merchandise, I will feature each and every single one of you. So I would appreciate it if you go out and show your love and support to my collection. And if you are a current J baby, I appreciate you so very much. If you want to be one of my J babies, go out and purchase something and show it off. So if you guys have any particular brands that are smaller that you think you would like me to review, please leave them in the comment section below so I can go check them out. Today's video is going to focus more on the brand called SoloGiovane. Now, they were kind enough to send me a foundation, a setting powder, a highlighter, and their new nostalgia eyeshadow palette. Now, all of these products are very affordable, and I appreciate them so much for sending these over to me. So although this is supposed to be an indie-only video, I don't have enough products to do a full face in just SoloGiovane, so my focus will be these 4 products, of course, but I will try and use other indie products throughout the video if I can. Some things like liquid lips or my primer, I just have to use what I have. But in the future, I will try and purchase myself, of course, as many of these products as I can from smaller indie brands so that I can use as many of them on my full face in these videos. Now, when these products were sent to me a couple months ago, I was a lot tanner than I am now, so this foundation may not be the right shade, but it's in shade 07. I do believe this is a medium coverage foundation, so before I get into that, I'm going to use my e.l.f. hydrating primer and get my skin ready for it. Now, as far as packaging, first off, I absolutely love it. I think it's sleek and simple. All their products, like I've shown you, have the black cap on it, clear, so you can always see what's inside it, which I think is kind of important, and I like that. This foundation itself is a pump foundation, which is very convenient. So I'm just going to put a couple pumps of that on my dampened beauty sponge and just start going in. And thankfully, right off the bat, it's not that bad of a shade match. I was kind of afraid it would be because, 1, I picked it from online, which isn't always a great idea, and 2, my skin tone is a lot different than it was then. And also, if you haven't noticed, my skin looks so much better than it did in my last video. Like I showed you guys, I started using a new retinol product from Skin Better Science. You can get it from BB Aesthetic if you want to save some money. It's 20% off right now. There's no code, it's just 20% off. So that's really been helping my skin. I've used it for like 4 or 5 nights now, and my skin just has its glow to it that I haven't seen in a while, and all the acne I was having is kind of like gone almost, and when I started breaking out a little bit while using it, all those things just like went away super fast. So I'm going to keep using it, and I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, you guys know I love to smell everything. This foundation barely has a fragrance, if any, so I like that a lot. Like I said in my Urban Decay foundation, the Stay Naked foundation review, I did not love it. It smelled like, I loved the foundation, I just didn't love the smell. It smelled like paint thinner, so that was kind of hard for me to get over. But this has almost no smell to it, so that's a plus right off the bat. Already I can tell it looks really nice on the skin. It's in no way near the level of coverage I like. I want it to be as full coverage as possible, but this just really sits on the skin nicely. Now, since I am reviewing this foundation as one of their products, I'm not color correcting my face because I want to give it the best chance it can, like I always say. Okay, so right off the bat, I like the coverage. It's not full coverage like I would want, of course. It doesn't say it's full coverage, but I just prefer full coverage. So it definitely does not have that. It looks very nice on the skin. It looks very skin-like. So if you're somebody who likes a more skin-like looking finish to your foundation, I would say go with the SoloGiovane foundation. Now for me, I think I'm going to go in with a second layer just because I like a little bit more coverage. Alright, with the second layer on, it definitely is buildable. It looks a bit better. You can see my shadow a little bit, but that's always kind of happening in my videos, so what can you do? But I do like the finish of it. It looks really beautiful. So far, so good. Hopefully it lasts through this video. Now jumping into concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline concealer in the shade 15 Light. This is kind of my go-to concealer lately. I'm just going to conceal underneath my eyes. A little on the forehead, of course. Down the bridge of the nose, right here, right here. Just gonna take my little mini sponge and blend that in real quick. So this Maybelline Fit Me Concealer is generally my go-to, like I said, so I know how well it performs and I know the level of coverage that it has. Now I don't currently like this combination of this foundation with this concealer. That's not anything negative about the foundation, of course, it just, to me, does not mix well with this concealer, so maybe play around with what products you combine with each other, but for me, the combination of the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer and the SoloGiovane foundation, I don't love yet. Maybe as my face dries a little bit more, I'll like it, but right now I'm not loving it. So now I'm going to take the SoloGiovane setting powder. This is in shade 03, and this conveniently comes with a little puff applicator, which is always nice. Now, I have tried this powder out before, and the shade is not my shade, so it's a little bit yellow, which I don't do, but I'm still going to use it anyway, just because that's what this video is for. So I'm going to take a little bit on my sponge and just go under my eye a little bit to set everything before it creases. Now, it is a loose powder, it's not translucent like I said, but it definitely has nice coverage to it, so maybe that will help the concealer issue I'm having right now. Yeah, it definitely looks nice when it's on the skin for sure. Like I said, it's not my color, but it works, so I guess for the sake of this video, it's a success so far. Again, this has no smell to it at all, so that's nice. I either want something to smell like nice or don't smell at all. But like don't smell super, super nice. Like just have like a faint kind of like candy smell or like nothing. Okay, so far so good. Everything I think is looking pretty nice. And now that I have that powder underneath my eyes, I'm not too unhappy with the concealer. You can still see a little bit of the bags under my eyes in person, but that's life. Alright, so for bronzer, I'm going to go in with my Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is for lighter skin, which currently is where I am at with things. Alright, so I'm just going to take my little Essence bronzing brush, and I'm just going to dip into this bad boy. Now, these are one of those products that smell so good. This I don't mind. It's not super strong, but anyway, sorry, before I devour my product. So, this bronzer is pretty sheer, so you can just go ham with it, and it's not that big of a deal. But I like this because sometimes I don't want a super dark bronzer, but it kind of gives you that warmth without being too much. Once in a while I'll go into my Hoola bronzer, but again, that makes me look like I'm sunburnt because it's too dark. I still need to get a lighter shade for that. But if you guys have a recommendation for like a medium kind of bronzer, please let me know in the comments because I've yet to find one that I like. I want the warmth, I want to use it for contouring, but I don't want it to be too overboard. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Okay, now that my face has a decent level of warmth to it, I'm just going to give it one quick little tap, tap, tap. Okay, so now I'm going to take that same bronzer, and I'm going to go with a little tiny e.l.f. brush, and I'm just going to pack that on nicely and just contour my nose slightly with it. Since you know, some of y'all like to say I have an ugly nose. I'm just going to go down the bridge on both sides, just to give it a little bit more definition, and I'll take it right up into my corner of my eyebrow. Alright, now that my face base is pretty much where I want it, I'm going to do brows real quick. And normally I don't love to do them on camera, so I'm just going to do them real fast. So, one moment. Okay, now that my brows and base are finished, I'm going to top off my base with some of the SoloGiovane Loose highlighter. Now when you take the lid off, you look inside, there's a little sifter, and you just can tap it and it comes out, which I think is amazing. So I'm going to take that with a little fluffy brush and dip into it. And now, since this palette that I have with this is mainly pinks and purples, I think this pink highlighter will look amazing with it. I'm just going to tap it on. Oh. Oh. Okay. That's beautiful. Oh, that is so beautiful. Oh, yes. Wow. Do you see that? Oh my God. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that this is already Cody J approved. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've ever had a highlighter just go straight on like that. Look at that. Oh my God. That's amazing. This is so beautiful. Oh, it's so iridescent. Like, it's not overpowering in any way, especially in person. Now, of course, it does have a pretty pink hue to it, so that's something you want. Definitely pick this one up. But if you don't like to have that pink, then don't. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my damp sponge and just tap on it a little bit to tone it down just a smidge by my cheeks. There we go, perfect. Okay, so now for my favorite part. We are going to be diving into the Nostalgia palette by SoloGiovane. There are 15 shades. There are 5 matte, 5 shimmer, and 5 pressed glitter. Okay, so I'm going to take my Morphe M441 brush and I'm going to dip into the shades Desire and then Deja Vu. And I'm going to take Desire and I'm going to pack it on the inner corner of my eye. Now I'm just going to do one eye on camera and then I'll do the second one off camera for time. And I'm just going to tap it in right on the inner corner. And I'm going to tap it until I get the desired level of pigmentation. Now once you pack it on, you're going to take little circular motions and just buff out the top and around the sides just so it gets ready to be blended in with another shade. It helps eliminate harsh lines once you're blending. Now, I did just get my Botox redone a few days ago, so it's hard for me to like lift my eyebrows a lot. So I have to like to be able to do anything right now, so sorry. Okay, now that you have that shade in place, I'm going to take my Morphe M433 brush and I'm going to dip into that second lighter shade called Deja Vu. Now I'm going to take this and right at the top I'm going to blend it into the first shade, but I'm also going to extend it all the way across my crease. And then I'm going to start to wing it up a little bit to give it a little bit of a shape. Now I'm not getting any fallout, which is great, but in the pan there's definitely a lot of kickback, which I don't love. I get that it's common, but I don't love that because it starts to get into all the other shades and then you try to like clean it off and they mix and it's just a mess, you know? So I love the pigmentation. They're definitely blending nicely. I don't love the kickback, but I do love that there's not much fallout. So now I'm going to take my Morphe M456 brush and I'm going to dip into the shade Sensation, which is this beautiful purple shade. And I'm going to take that right on the outer corner of my lid and just stamp it on and blend it into the first shade, which was Desire, and then bring it up into Deja Vu. So this purple I'm having some trouble with. Okay, so I'm struggling a little bit with that brush. I'm going to take a Wet n Wild, more of a flat packer brush, and see if it's easier to just pack it on first and then blend it out. So that definitely helps show up a little bit better, but this purple is not blending well for me. So I'm going to go back in with that Morphe brush and try and blend it together. Wing. Now I did forget to mention, I primed my eyelid with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Normally I've been using my P. Louise base in shade Rumor 01, but today I wanted to try out my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer as a primer for my eyelid to see what happens, and that could also be an issue too. Maybe this shadow doesn't work well with the Maybelline Concealer. I think my biggest issue so far with these products is they aren't really combining well with my regular products, so I don't know what that's about, but we're going to keep trucking along. So I'm going to take my Morphe M506 brush and I'm going to take a little bit of Sentiment, which is this pink shimmer shade, on the inner corner of my eye, and I'm going to blend that into a little bit of Feelings, which is the shimmer purple. So I'm just going to tap on sentiment right here in the inner corner. It looks beautiful on top of that pink as a base. Ooh, that's beautiful. So for this eye look, I didn't want it to be that much of a structured eyeshadow look, which is why I did not cut my crease. Normally I do cut my crease, but today I didn't want it to be so super structured. Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. I don't know how well it picks up on camera, but it is blinding in person. So I'm just gonna wipe off that brush and dip into the purple shade called Feelings. I'm gonna pack that and blend that into the first shimmer shade. And then cover all the purple with this shimmer purple. So even though that first purple matte shade I was struggling with as far as blending and it being a little patchy, once it's down and it's kind of just a base basically, and you put these shimmer shadows on top, both the pink and the purple will look beautiful. They blend together very nicely, the shimmers do, and I think overall that looks really nice. So now for my under, I'm going to take my new Makeup Shack brush in style T14. This was recommended by Orosio Seha, and I love it for underneath my eye. It gets really close to your lash line, and I think it's really helpful. So I'm going to take shade Intuition, and I'm going to blend that out with a little bit of Amore. Okay, I'm going to wipe that brush off, dip into the pink shade called Amore. Just buff that in, and blend it out. So I'm going to take a little bit more of Intuition and go back in, just because I lost some of it. I just wanted it to be a little bit darker. Now if this pink and purple combo doesn't scream nostalgia, I don't know what does. Okay, now that I have all my shades placed where I want them, I'm going to do the other eye off camera real quick and throw on some lashes, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I got both eyes finished. I threw on my new Dulzura Cosmetics lashes. They are also a indie brand. And on the inner corner of my eye, I went ahead and tapped on some Emotion, which is a little bit of the Nostalgia Palette's pressed glitter. They are very soft, so you don't really need a glitter glue or anything like that. And of course, as you can see, I had to top this whole eyeshadow look off with a little bit of my rhinestones because I'm kind of obsessed with them right now, and I think it really takes everything to kind of like the next level. And
on the next level, good.
And to finish off this look, I'm going to put on my Salted Caramel Mocha Liquid Lip. This is from Beauty Bakery. This is probably my favorite liquid lip at the moment. It smells so good. So I'm just going to put this on real quick. Gosh, I'm obsessed with this Beauty Bakery liquid lipstick. It is probably my favorite liquid lip that I've ever found. It glides on so nicely and so smoothly, and the pigmentation is beyond anything I've ever worn before. It dries down pretty quickly and it doesn't feel tacky or sticky or anything like that. It lasts a very, very long time. It doesn't settle in all the little lines in your lips, which I think is pretty important if you're going through your day. You don't want like wrinkly lips. And the doe foot is so amazing, so you don't have to keep dipping in it like 100 times just to do your lips. What do we think? What do you think? Alright, I'm going to run through everything really quickly and give you my final thoughts. So, the SoloGiovane foundation. I'm going to say I like it, even though it's not full coverage, of course, which I didn't expect it to be. Now, if you're someone who's going to like their 9 to 5, then I think this would be a foundation that you would like. The SoloGiovane Loose Setting Powder, although it wasn't my shade, it does a good job, and it definitely helps increase the coverage, especially under my eyes. So for that, I like that. It didn't crease at all. I don't see any creasing, anything like that, so I appreciate that. Next up is the SoloGiovane Loose Highlighter. Now, I really love this. I think this pink is a beautiful shade. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. And last but not least is the SoloGiovane 15 Shadow Palette. Like I said, it has 5 matte, 5 shimmer, and 5 pressed glitters. Now, the pigmentation was there for sure, like you can see it, obviously. But it took a little extra work, which I didn't really appreciate. And in the pan itself, there is quite a lot of fallout or kickback, and it gets into all the other shades and makes it kind of muddy. So that definitely is a huge downside for me. The pressed glitters on the bottom row, they're all very soft and very pliable, so you can put them on without having to use a glitter glue, and that's what's on the inner corner of my eyes. So I like the pressed glitters. I like the shimmers. I think they show up very beautifully. The matte shades for me, like I said, there was just too much kickback. It was very dusty, and even when you're applying it on your eyes, you can see the powder kind of like flying up in the air, and I feel like that could be irritating to someone's eyes. For me it wasn't, but I feel like for you it could be. So overall, the Nostalgia palette, would it be Cody J approved? I don't know. I think there's an equal amount of pros and cons. Colors are beautiful, there's a lot to choose from. I love pinks and purples, as you know, so to me this is a beautiful palette. I like the versatility of there being matte, shimmer, and pressed glitters, so I love that. But like I said, it takes a little bit extra work to really get them to do what you want them to do, so I'm kind of iffy on it. I'm going to say it would not be Cody J approved, unfortunately. So, altogether, foundation, Cody J approved. Setting powder, Cody J approved. Loose highlighter, Cody J approved. And the Nostalgia eyeshadow palette is not Cody J approved. Now, these are all just my opinions, of course. Just because I don't personally love them doesn't mean you won't. Should you go out and try these products? Probably. I think you could. I think you would like them. I personally don't love them. The formula and the eyeshadow palette is not the best I've ever used, but of course it's not the worst I've ever used either. So if you have a little bit of extra time and you have the ability to work with them a little bit extra, I think you'll come up with something beautiful. Like I said, at the end of the day, this eyeshadow look I think is absolutely stunning. I think it all came together beautifully. It just took a little bit of extra work. Now for the overall brand of SoloGiovane itself, it is absolutely 100% Cody J approved. If you go over to their website, you can see they have so many different products. They have several palettes, and there are quite a few shades of foundation and loose setting powders. So overall, I think you're getting a great deal. They are great products. They are a smaller brand, which I support so much. I think smaller brands need to get even more support from all of us. So those are my thoughts on SoloGiovane. So let's jump into today's video's MUA shoutout. Today's MUA shoutout goes to the amazing @Ruriko Yamazaki. I will list all of her information in the description box below, so please head on over and check her out and show her some love and support. Now, if you'd like to be my next video's MUA shoutout, all you have to do is, of course, be subscribed to my YouTube channel and retweet this video link when I post it on Twitter. Now, just as a reminder, like I said in the beginning of this video, I finally launched my first collection called the Cody J Logo Collection over on teespring.com. You can find it at teespring.com/stores/CodyJapparel. I again will also list all that information in the description box below. Your love and support would mean the absolute world to me, and any profits I make off any of my merchandise will go back into my channel and to further help me create more content for you guys. Now, if you'd like to connect with me on my social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. They are both at CodyJArtistry. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up down below. Click the big red subscribe button so you can join my JBaby YouTube family, and I'll see you in the next one.